he just could give it to us. We did not know that she was gonna touch our lives forever. Like, she meant so much to me. I remember that even when my boyfriend broke up to me, I went to the theater classroom and I went and talked to, who's my husband, by the way, now. But I went to find Miss Lawrence. I had to talk to Miss Lawrence. She had to be the one to make me feel better. My daughter's in theater, and I kept telling her, you're going to go to Deer Park and you're going to have Miss Lawrence, and it's going to be amazing. And then she retired my daughter's freshman year, so she missed out on that. But she was amazing, and I do remember the one time I saw her perform was our theater party that got turned into an award ceremony type thing. It was like a red carpet themed. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. And she sang a song. What was the song she sang?
I, Don Quixote.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Oh my God, my jaw dropped the whole time. I was just like, did she just do that? Like, I had no idea. I had no clue that she could do that, and she was just an amazing person, and I regret not keeping in touch with her. But she touched my heart, she touched my husband's heart. Like, she hears, my kids hear stories about her all the time. So, I just,
My name is Michelle Light, and I am also not an actress or a techie or anything. Nor was I a student of Miss Lawrence's. However, I'm a mom, and I know there's some other moms here. And as a mom, my kids were in theater from 2012 to 2020, without a break. I had a kid in theater for about 8 years. And over that time, I got the opportunity to see her not only invest in my kids, but I watched her invest in so many of the faces in this room. I know for a fact that a number of her kids went on to teach. And they went on, and because of that, they carry on her legacy and that was because she instilled that in them. Not only did she inspire the kids to be more than they thought they were, but she inspired them to believe in themselves. And for myself, I had never been involved in theater. I knew nothing about theater. And when my kids became involved in it, it's now been our whole family. It's been our family's lives since that year, since 2012. She was an amazing person who invested her life, leaving a legacy of learning and kids who can believe in themselves, and now they can do that for other kids, and that's pretty neat.
Excuse me. I'm Matt Pinion. For an actor, I'm not much for speaking in public, so bear with me. Miss Lawrence was not just a teacher. She was family. She was a friend. And as I am a big boy now, I was a big boy then, and I remember having to take trips to like thrift stores to find costumes that would fit my broad shoulders, as she called them. She was very sweet about it. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to share this stage with her in a production of 20 Thing Putnam County Spelling Bee. She was amazing, and it was an honor to be in that with her. I loved Kelly Lawrence, and I still love Kelly Lawrence. And I just always wanted to make her proud, because I was proud to be a student of Kelly Lawrence. And I think I've carried that with me all the years since then. Yeah, it was just, I had the opportunity to get close to Miss Lawrence be it those trips to to the thrift store, or we spent so much time in that theater room outside of class. I spent my lunch in that theater room. My final senior year, I was her teaching assistant. I couldn't get enough of being just around her and learning from her and getting to love her, and I feel grateful for her.
Hello, my name is Alec White. Like many of you, I was a student of Miss Lawrence's. That was my mom that came up here earlier. Miss Lawrence taught me a lot of things. She went out on a limb and gave me a chance as a freshman in a one-act play as an actor on stage. And I'm forever grateful for that moment because I believe it changed the course of my life. It's what really started me in theater. It's where I met some of my best friends still to this day. And I'm just super thankful for Miss Lawrence because she created a community. She cultivated a community of people who weren't only afraid to learn, but to try things and be bad at things, to go out on a limb, and never be afraid to be yourself. She's one of the main reasons that I am a theater teacher today. I teach at Deer Park Junior High. She taught me a lot of things, but my top ones that I love saying are CYC, consolidate your crap. Save your shit talk for the bus. And she taught me how to fold slacks. So I'm forever thankful for Miss Lawrence. She's the person that taught me how to be an actor. I owe every part of my theater career and success to her.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Crowell. I was Amy Harvey and I graduated in 2004. And like Michelle mentioned earlier, I remember when Kelly came to Deer Park. I was not a theater kid, and then I was really drowning in a big school and feeling like I didn't have a place, and I wanted to take theater again. I'd taken it in middle school, and I just wanted to do something different. And so I went in to talk to Kelly. It was before she'd even taught a day at Deer Park, and she invited me to take her Theater 2 class and not Theater 1 as a junior. And I met some of my favorite people in that class, and really it just took a very short amount of time, and then I was a theater kid, and I was like, what do I want to do with my life? I want to be a theater kid. That's all I want to be. And she told me about McLennan Community College, which is where I ended up going, and I met my husband there, and I named my son Chaplin because she taught me about Charlie Chaplin, and I became a high school theater teacher. And every time I think about making a decision for my class or for what play I'm going to direct or how I'm going to stage something, someone else used the word touchstone. Like, Kelly is my touchstone. She's very much, I think about what would she have done. And some of my favorite things that she taught me was theater history. Her describing like Greek theater just ignited my imagination, and I was like, what is this? And so it's still one of my passions today. The way that when she would direct, she would use her whole body. And she didn't like give you a line reading and say, do it this way, but she was fearless in the way that she would go out and be willing to roll around and be silly. And it was just, it gave me the courage to be myself on stage, which I think as a theater kid, that's what we all appreciate, is that we're more ourselves when we're someone else. And so, yeah, I'm just, I'm so sad that I don't get another chance to tell her that how much of an impact she's made on my life. But I have a magic circle with my kids before every show, and I always say to them what she said to us, and you know it. So, thank you.
name is Drake, graduated in 2013, and similar to a lot of people, find my life today in a position because of Kelly and because of Chris. Came to Deer Park as a sophomore, was homeschooled for a few years and not really vibing with most of the people I came into contact with my first few weeks at the school. I knew I wanted to take a theater class and I knew I wanted to play football. And both of those things were probably not going to exist simultaneously because musical happened in the fall and so does football. And if you know anything about the types of rehearsals that Kelly ran, they were rigorous and you made sure you were there the whole time, on time, and made sure that you were present. And I remember auditioning we were doing Footloose, and she gave me a part in the musical, and I told her I have football practice as well, so I'll have to come to the musical in football pads. And she was like, as long as you're not a distraction, that'll be okay. So for, I think, that entire show, I showed up like at least an hour and a half late to rehearsal in thigh pads and like a sweaty shirt, and she looped me in and threw me right in with everyone else and made it a point to tell me that she believed that I was where I should be. Sorry, it's crazy. In the couple years that I was at Deer Park, theater became the focus of what I was doing in football. You know, became an afterburner. I think socially, a lot of that became an afterburner to theater, and it became the goal was to do this because of the countless conversations and the meetings where Kelly would pull me into her office with Chris and say, what are you doing? You need to get your crap together. She would tell me that rehearsal was bullshit. Don't ever come in here and do that again, where you're not really, you know, showing up. And that was so refreshing as a 16-year-old to have someone tell you like, hey, you need to pull your crap together, and what you're giving everyone else may be good enough for them, but it's not good enough for me and for what we want for, you know, you and for the program. And so I ended up applying to a bunch of schools and wanted to do theater after high school, and recently went back to find some things that I'd asked Kelly for in that process. I'd asked her for recommendation letters, and I didn't get to see a lot of the recommendation letters because they were deposited into the administrative system. But a couple years ago, I'd asked her for one, and I really wanted to go to Juilliard, right, as every young budding actor does, and had 0% shot at getting in at all. But she wrote a letter for me, and she sent me the letter, and I got to read it, and it was 5 pages long.
Oh.
It was a really long letter, and it had details of stuff that I had not remembered, about shows we'd done, about rehearsals, about stuff. She was telling some random administrator at, you know, this incredible school about this little kid in Texas that she thought could be someone that they could want. And I didn't go to Juilliard because they didn't want me. But I did get into other schools that I decided not to go to because I wanted to stay in Texas. And she sent me to Camp on the Coast, which was a theater camp in Corpus Christi, 2-week-long theater camp. And she was like, if you want to go, I want you to go. You have to raise the money yourself. So I raised the $2,000 and went. And similar to, I know a lot of other experiences in the room, my partner that I live with in Chicago, of all places, is someone that I met at that camp as well because Kelly urged me to go to the other Kelly's camp, Kelly Russell. And yeah, so forever indebted to her and the time and energy she spends on individuals, and the communication that she has with you as a person is just for you, is always how I felt with her, right? You know, when she's talking to you, she can speak to you in a way that you can understand. So sad, obviously, to see her go, but finding in the smallest moments in these past few weeks since hearing of her passing as well, a reminder of those of us that are still living in some capacity of the world of theater, performing, or family, that it's just a part of you, right? It's just, you are who you are because of those people that give you that seed to grow you into an adult. And so Kelly, major part of my life, so thank you.
I'm Drake's mom. Kelly and I had a real
interesting relationship. Lori and I would constantly go to Kelly's office and say, "This is not material for children." And she would constantly say, "You're right. These are going to be adults soon." And we would say, "No, no, no, no. Fishnets is not good. No, no, no. You didn't have that. She would say, "No, no, no, no. You don't understand. This is theater. This is theater." We constantly had this. She respected what we wanted, and she stood for what she wanted. And we always loved that about Kelly. One of the things is she didn't have her own children, but she had all of these children. You know, I see all these kids who've just grown up and have become great adults, and the fact that they took the time out in their lives, you know, to come today to honor her means a lot. I remember sitting in New York with her at a play, and Chris, and some woman took her shirt off, and I'm like, "Kelly, you know, this is the play we're going to choose to see with these teenage kids." And I was all upset. And I remember her turning to me and looking me in the eye, and she said, "I know you think that you enjoy watching Drake." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "He's got it. I'm going to tell you from me to you, please encourage it." And I'll never forget that, because your kid, you like your kid, you think they do a great job. But when someone who's in that profession looks at you and says, "Hey, she was giving more to him in that area than I was," because I was just there to support him. And, "Yay, good for you, I'm glad you like this." I realized on that day that she saw something that he wanted to chase. And as his mama, she gave that back to me to help chase that with her. And she did. She pushed him all the way, every minute she could, every time she could. And I think she's done that for every kid here in some capacity, some way. And I know it meant a lot to me to watch her do that for him. And so remember this, y'all are her legacy. Legacy is what you bring forward. It doesn't mean what you inherit. It's what you actually bring out from somebody.
I'm very weepy, so let's see if I can make this. I'm Michelle. I'm one of her nieces. One of my favorite activities every Christmas was watching the video of y'all's musicals. Oh, I will tell you, we were very critical. She had all her points about, "Oh, we needed to have done this. Oh, we should have done that." But every year, we made notes about what to do with kids next year. Because I recognize so many of your faces, even if I don't know your names. Because it's wonderful performances, whether it was us coming to see Ronak plays to support her and cheering you on and badmouthing the other kids. Those are some of my favorite things that we used to do together. Because I loved theater, but clearly there was no getting up on a stage for me. But I look at some of you and come up here and I'm like, "Oh, I know that face. I've seen you see something really incredible." So she really did know we're part of our family. And to watch so many of you grow up, especially those of you that were in high school at the same time as me, because we moved back to Houston. And she and I used to joke that we needed to convince Dad to live in Deer Park so I could show up in her classroom. And we could tease each other, "Hi, Miss Lawrence. Hi, Miss Lawrence."
Hi, my name is Sky. I graduated in 2005, so I was one of the other students who was a part of the group that was Miss Lawrence's first. I was a sophomore when she came in, so I was a sophomore, junior, and senior with her, so one of the first groups that she had right there at the beginning. It's funny, leading up to this, I was thinking there was no way in hell I was gonna get up and talk in front of everybody because I haven't talked in front of a group of people in a very long time. But oddly enough, hearing all of these memories of her and hearing us talk about her, I'm remembering the confidence I had whenever I was in her classroom and on her stage. You know, it's bizarre to, even though I'm shaking right now because I'm still nervous, I still remember that magic that she brought to us and the light that she gave you. I was trying to think of the things that I would want to share about her, and I was going through my memories, and I was thinking about whether or not it would be, you know, that I was so afraid of doing my Shakespearean monologue, and I was convinced that I would never be able to remember all of the words and get it right. And I am 36 years old, and if you ask me what my Shakespearean monologue was, I can tell you right now, I can still drop it word for word to this day. Or if it was about, you know, learning the performance we did with the Bob Fosse stuff that we did at the end of the year with our performance, which was so much fun. Or if it's what Miss Lawrence would probably say annoyed me the most, that I annoyed her the most about, which would be that I did not get our t-shirts for the theater club, even though I was the theater president, until like the week before we ended the school year, which ended up going on our little paper plate awards at Theater Banquet. Or it could be that for the show, at the beginning of my senior year, we did, it was Dearly Departed, right? That was the name of it. And she created these characters for in between scenes so that she could include as many people as she wanted. And so I was one of those characters that she like wrote in, and she didn't know what to call her, so she was literally walking into her pantry and she saw spirulina pasta, so she named her Spirulina Stackhouse because that's what I reminded her of. Which clearly I have not changed very much. So, you know, it's all those kind of things. But one of my favorite things about her is I remember her coming to school one day and telling me that she had a dream about me and that I'd won an Oscar, and I thanked her in my Oscar speech. And I don't know that there's any greater compliment in the world than somebody like Kelly Lawrence imagining that you could win an Oscar. You know, like it's just, that's what she did for all of us. She gave us confidence in any way that she could figure it out. Like she looked at us and she saw the magic, and she made us feel that magic. Back in the day, I was a lot more confident, snotty little child, so I probably walked around like I had all the confidence in the world, you know? But I knew that that's not how, you know, she just made you feel a certain kind of way, and she told you what you needed to hear to make you walk on that stage and make you feel like you were $1 million. And she gave us the right kind of direction and the words to show you who you could be and what you were and why you were important. And then to hear all of everybody talking about how, you know, you've gone on into the world and become these teachers who are now passing that on to other students, or the parents who are talking about what it's done for their kids and things like that. You know, she was an extraordinary person. She was an extraordinary person. And it's so wonderful to get to celebrate her, but like, we should all, like, we're so freaking lucky, you guys. Like, we're so lucky that we got to have her. So I'm also all really grateful to get to see all of you. Some of you, I don't even know you. And I was terrified coming in here. I was just like, dude, nobody wants to like see people that you don't really know. Like, this is awkward and everything. But this is also what she did for us, you know? Like, she's getting to bring people together that haven't seen each other in a really long time, and she would love that. So she's still giving us gifts even now.
My name is Kelsey. I graduated in 2008. And I was hesitant to come up because I don't have a specific story about Miss Lawrence. I didn't meet a partner because I went to camp for her or everything, but I realized that what I have are patchworks, like a patchwork memory of the seniors playing dominoes, you know, during the breaks, or eating lunch in the practice rooms, or you know, we're talking about like her rolling around on stage, and it just creates this memory patchwork that you don't realize builds who you are. You know, the mild sexual harassment from Justin Golden. You're welcome for that memory, because that came to me. Funnily enough, what stands out to me the most when I think of her in a teaching capacity is when she taught us about Greek theater and the catharsis. And I have this very specific memory of her teaching us about the cathartic scream. And I don't know why that like sticks in my mind so intensely, and I think it's because it's the essence of that emotion that she brings, that she taught us to reach down and gather and bring to our everyday lives. And, or maybe it was just fucking terrifying, and I'm mildly traumatized, 16 years on, but even if you don't have a specific story that comes to mind, even if all you have are these patchwork memories, it's still what made you you. It brought you to who you eventually became, and I will forever be grateful for her, for creating that community. Like you were saying, like I was nervous coming here too. Like I haven't seen so many people in 15 years, it's gonna be awkward, and it wasn't. I walked in and immediately started talking to people that, I haven't spoken to maybe in all these years, and it was amazing because of the community that she built, because of the connections that she fostered, and the opportunities that she gave us. So I think, like you said, we were all really lucky to be part of her life and to have her as part of ours. Thank you guys.
The most awkward race to see if somebody else is going to stand up with who's going to go first.
So, my name is Amy Diaz. I was Campbell at the time. I graduated in 2007. And also to piggyback, community. It's weird. It's been a lifetime, but it also feels like 2 seconds ago. We all look great. And it's really interesting. My husband always says every time I see somebody that I knew, he was like, "You can always tell." And I was like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "You can tell when you've been in theater with someone." I was like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "You know what that means." Yeah. I do have a specific story, but I also agree on the patchwork because it's hard to pinpoint one thing. But I thought of something that happened after. It was not in a rehearsal. It was not at school. It was after. I think I saw her. I was like 19 or 20, and I was talking with her, and I was trying to share all these like things I was doing because I thought because in high school I was pitifully naive and very uncool, though I don't think that second part has changed much. She's very sure I'm not that cool still. But I was talking to her, and I was telling her some things that I've done and was doing, and I was like, this is gonna be I'm officially an adult. I'm gonna be so cool, and I realized she's looking at me just kind of like, you know when she like study you for a second, and you're like, oh, what? And she goes, why are you trying to impress me? Okay, first, ouch. But, and I was like, what? Because I was very much trying to be impressive at that time. And I was like, I'm not trying to impress you. And she was like, you don't have to impress anybody. And the moment, that was kind of all she said. And the moment passed a little bit after that. We just kept talking about random things, but naturally, because I overthink, I thought about that for like the next 7 years. And as small as that little conversation was, it very much kind of changed the trajectory of how I carry myself. I realized how much I was trying to be somebody else for other people and not who I actually was. And it's irrelevant if I was naive or very uncool in high school, because I am in fact an adult, and that's not important anymore. But it definitely, it hit me how it was even completely outside of theater. While being in theater and being with so many of you changed so much and helped me grow, it was that interaction that hit me in a way that I stopped living apologetically, and I stopped living for other people. And that was the memory that was so strong as I started listening to everybody else. And that was fun.
I'm Justin. I graduated in 2007 with Amy and several other faces here. I came to Deer Park in 2005, and I don't think Kelly or even Chris knew this whenever I came, but at the time, I had been leaving, my family was, or at least my mom, we were leaving a cult and a very abusive household. And my mind, my world was very closed. It was I had very narrow-minded opinions and thoughts and beliefs. And Kelly and Chris, in that class, Theater 3, Theater 4, really started opening up an entirely different world for me. And I started learning so much about the world that I didn't know. It was my first real lessons as an actor. I'd been acting on stage before, but I never had been taught by somebody. In a lot of the ways that Kelly teaches her students, to let them get up and try and work it out and then coach them afterwards and let them figure out their own discoveries. I do that now as a theater teacher, and she never told you what the right thing was. She never told you what the good thing was. She would ask you questions, and she would make you think, and she would make you question. And it's stuff I do now with my own students, it's stuff I still do with myself. And it's just strange to think that all those years ago, she had no idea, but she took this 16-year-old extremely awkward kid who had been homeschooled for 10 years and in a cult, and started making him something that was different. And theater became my home away from home. It became where I lived and wanted to be, and the only place I wanted to be. And it's funny listening to all these stories and listening to Kelsey talk about patchworks. I feel that the whole patchwork thing. And she left behind an incredible legacy. And I remember when seeing that she was gone, I couldn't believe it, and I thought about it for just days afterward, and the impact that she had. And the fact that I hadn't really thought about that impact until she was gone, and it makes me sad that I didn't ever express that to her. She was an incredible woman, an incredible teacher, and she has definitely left an incredible mark on this world, and it will never be forgotten.
Hi. Haven't done theater public speaking in a very, very long time, let alone have I ever stood in front of people and had to come up with my own words. So this is gonna be a little awkward for me. And many notes. There are so many things that I think about and that come to mind when thinking about theater in high school and Miss Erman, Miss Lawrence. My paper plate award was the crying actress. It still holds true. So sorry. Miss Lawrence, for me, was my first real up-close and personal relationship with a woman who was so authentic and strong and confident, and it blew my mind. And it created a much happier existence for me and my possibilities moving forward. I work with kids now in a different capacity. I'm a nurse. I'm not a theater teacher or anything, but I deal with the full spectrum of ages, and so I love the babies and the kids, and they're so cute. And then I get a teenager, and I'm like, oh God. Okay, let's see how this is gonna go. Are they gonna kill me with their words today? Maybe. They're gonna try. And so looking at what y'all do and what she did,
for all those years with so many hormonal teenagers. I don't understand how she did it so well. The line she walked between being our teacher and being our friend is such a fine line, and she did it with so much grace. She made it look effortless. And it still just blows my mind. I have a couple of examples. She once, I was in y'all's office, y'all shared office, and I was ranting and raving about how upset I was that I was being punished by my parents for something that I wasn't supposed to be doing, but I got caught because I tell on myself. And she looked me in the eye as I was so upset and said something to the effect of, "Are you in trouble because you're a child trying to do adult things?" And I was like, ouch, yes. I'll shut up, God. She does something I don't know if I'll ever be able to manage, which is she held everyone so accountable and was never an asshole. Sorry for the children. But
I promise you she's heard worse in my house, so it's okay.
That would be Erwin's daughter, right?
Thanks. But, yeah, she really instilled that in me, I think. I do not come from a family of accountable people. And I think now that I look back on it, I think that's really where it started for me, to really see how respectable and how good it is to really be accountable. And so there were times when I'd go to her and be like, "Sorry, I was in this play and we could all tell I wasn't giving it my best." And now looking back at it after we opened and did it, and I was like, oops. And she just looked at me and was like, mm-hmm. I was like, cool. But she also, I don't know if it's my faulty memory, or like my view at the time. I really craved her attention and her approval. She really wasn't one to just hand out compliments. No note's a good note. You didn't get good notes. So wasn't much opportunity for that. But she still, if you listened and if you paid attention to the way she spoke about you or spoke to you when you were on stage and she was trying to get a scene to work or do whatever, there were just these little moments that I still vividly remember of trying to work through a scene, and my scene partner was struggling with either keeping their accent or being loud enough to be heard. It was either one or the other. And they were struggling a lot. And so she stopped them and she was like, "Hey, stop thinking. Turn to Kara, focus on her, and just go. She'll try to match her volume, but I want that to be like a passive thought. Just give it to her. She'll give you what you need." And I was like, oh my God.
Like, she wasn't even talking to me. But that's still, I remember it so vividly, because I was like, oh, such high praise. But yeah, she was the highlight. She was what made high school worth it. She was very brave in the subject matter, being in Deer Park. I grew up Catholic, and the year I was supposed to, my confirmation was the year we did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, and we all sat down and got a packet of what is existentialism, and I was like, oh God, how do I go confirm my Catholicism now? And like, I did it, but I struggled so much because of that. But ultimately, for the best. So yeah, to say that both you and Miss Lawrence impacted my life is a huge understatement. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Ryan. Unlike many of you, I wasn't really a theater kid until much later. I actually didn't start theater until my junior year in high school, and that was at a different school. And then I moved back to Deer Park in my senior year, and I decided to go ahead and continue it because I had a good time. I started basically on a lark. I was in a new school, I didn't know anybody. I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try out for a show. And I enjoyed it, so I went back in my senior year. I decided to actually take a class instead of just doing shows. And I never saw Miss Lawrence act, but once in class. I was a very reserved kid. I'm still a pretty reserved adult, but significantly less so now. And a lot of that comes down to this one moment when I saw someone so full of energy and life and fire for just a moment, just a few words. I can't even remember what they were, but that feeling has stuck with me all these years as just the epitome of what it is to be fully someone. I remember just a few flashes of that year. Everybody knows senior year, you don't really pay attention that much. But we were doing one act play, and I remember two very distinct things from that. One was we had to cut the show down because it was too long, and she had all of the students cut their own lines. And if you know actors, they're gonna hold on to every little word they can get their grubby little mitts on. So that was, I think, a really good practice in learning to let go, to find the things that are important and stick with those. And that's a lesson I've taken with me throughout my entire life. One little thing that has stuck with me this whole time. And then another thing is, she made us dance, even though it wasn't a musical. For every show, we did Can't Stop Me Now by Queen. And I can't dance, I couldn't dance, and she made me dance, and I had a great time. So now I dance even though I can't because it's fun. And that's it.
Hi, my name is Kim Martin. I swore I wasn't going to get up here and speak today. Or if I did, it was not going to be until after Chris Irwin did.
Backstage, baby.
I got here a little bit late. Unless I missed something, I'm having to wait a long time for Chris Irwin to get up here. I guess that's what happens when your football team loses the day before.
Oh my God.
You can't, just can't bear to face an audience. Don't worry, Chris. My alma mater is playing your alma mater in about 6 weeks. Guaranteed Aggie victory. I was not a student in traditional terms of Kelly. In fact, she very well could have been one of my students, because I'm enough older than her that I would have been teaching a few years by the time she graduated from high school. But I became the teacher at the 9th grade campus in about 2007. And I spent 6 years there. I was at a time in my career where I didn't want to be the main person in the program. I just wanted to kind of help with the program. I wanted to be one of the co-teachers or assistant teachers or something. And so I got the opportunity to teach at North Campus. Let me tell you, one of the best things about that job, was getting to work with great kids for 1 year and then send them off someplace else. But the best thing really about that was I knew who I was sending them to. I knew that I didn't have to go to tell them, look, you're going to go over there to that big campus and you're going to be working with a different teacher. Not going to be as good as me. You're not going to like them as much, but you just be patient and just deal with it. That wasn't the way. When they want to get over there, when they want to be with a couple of great people, Chris and Kelly, we're really going to turn them on to theater in a way that I couldn't do. And I learned by being the 9th grade campus teacher a lot of things about watching them work. One of the things I learned was trust your students. Let them get in there and do it. Direct or design or actually build that thing rather than me having to think, oh, I can't turn this loose on them. I can't let them do this. No, she did. She oversaw it. Chris did too. Made sure it was done right. But they trusted the people. And when I learned that, when I went on to my next thing, that was a very valuable thing. Let them do it. Trust that I did move on. I had the opportunity to go teach at the college level after I'd been at Deer Park for 6 years. And I took some of the things I learned from watching them and how they dealt with their students or with me over there. And they let me be a part of it too. I got to come over and direct a couple of shows with the big kids and had a great time doing some of the most fun plays I ever directed. Were coming over from North Campus, going over to South Campus, working with some of the kids I had had in 9th grade and some of the kids I hadn't had in 9th grade, and doing a play and really getting deep into it. Great fun. I appreciated my years. I, like you, was shocked to learn that Kelly had passed away, that we would no longer get to see her excitement. I know she had retired, but I had a feeling that we hadn't heard the last of her, whatever, either as an adjudicator. I know she was doing some adjudication. I look forward to maybe adjudicating with her and being on a panel and hearing what she had to say, because I knew I would learn things from her in that way, just to listen to her relate to the kids again, or maybe be in a show again, or see her on stage again. I would love to have been in a show with Kelly, because I knew that she would teach me things, always teaching. Weren't we lucky? We're just all so lucky. We'll remember, we'll be blessed by her until we're no longer remembering things. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many of you. My name is Caitlin Jeffrey. It was Caitlin Goodman at the time. I see so many faces I know. I'm so happy. I graduated in 2007. I was in theater all 4 years, so I would say that Kelly was one of the most important adults in my life at that formative time. I know I exasperated her so many times with my antics. I can hear her. Chris, it's been so many years. I'm not sure if you remember the story, but I'd like to formally apologize for that time I got you chewed out by Miss Scuba for, I believe I was on the mic at Gala introducing some such, and I casually cussed because I thought that would be cool. And yeah, Miss Scuba really let you have it for that. So you and Kelly both, I'm formally sorry for that.
I don't work there anymore.
But for all the times I really pushed her to the limits, I always felt safe with her and respected, and I guess that's why I was in the program for so many years and in her room so much more time than I strictly needed to be. But I have just a few quick memories and stories, patchwork, like someone said, so apt. And someone mentioned her beautiful singing voice that maybe we didn't all get to hear, but the power note is one thing I remember that Kelly taught me, is that I'm not a great singer, but she helped me identify that everyone has a power note. You can hit that one note and really let them have it. And I remember her just incredible power note. I want to say it was a C. I'm not very musical, but she was very impressive. Whoever said if you didn't get to hear her singing voice. Another quick memory was with Beth. We were doing scenes in class, and my dear friend Josh Davis and I were doing that scene from Macbeth. I was to tell him, so screw your courage to the sticking point, and I was kind of having trouble with it. And she, cathartic, someone else mentioned, she just gave me that little push that I had to do. So in our next take, I went all for it, and I pushed Josh into the wall, shoved him up into the wall of her classroom, and a crack immediately formed. And so if any of you remember that crack being in her classroom, Josh and I were very proud that our craft had lended to that. And the last story I'm actually quite embarrassed by, but it came from youth, but I think it's important to say that it was our trip to New York City. This was the early mid-2000s, I suppose, and Kelly and I were sharing a cab, and another student. We had all, got a bunch of cabs, and we're heading to dinner or such, and I saw a drag queen on the sidewalk, and very young from Deer Park. I was so excited and just gawking and couldn't believe, oh my gosh, look. Like I said, this is very embarrassing to recall now, because but I will never forget the way she looked at me and so dryly said, no, they're just a person. And it was just in that moment so eye-opening to me. And it has never left me from that moment on to lead with empathy first and love and understanding. That I guess that one moment could have really changed the trajectory of my life in a lot of ways. And I'm just so grateful to her for that, having opened my eyes in such a way. And I'm so thankful.
Hey y'all. It's so crazy to be standing right here. Look at everybody that's here. Okay. If you know me, you know that my thoughts are usually all kind of scattered when I'm telling a story anyway, so if you know me, you're welcome, and if you don't, also you're welcome. My paper plate award was That Blonde Girl, so you're all gonna witness that right now. I also just kind of have scattered remembering things from different moments of times with Kelly, but I feel like I had really cool opportunities to be able to see her in different lights and work with her in different capacities. I started out, like most of you, knowing her as Miss Lawrence. And there are two shows that I am kind of going to focus on and talk about that kind of became super formative for me and had the most memories from her and I spending time together. But the first one is Grease. We did Grease I guess it was junior year. And it was such a fun show, and Grease was always one of my favorite shows anyways. And I so enjoyed and loved getting to do that. I then went on into college and got to do Grease again at my college, and I was so excited about it. And then I had one more experience specifically with her, but that show kind of stuck out, and she asked me to come back and choreograph it the last time that the high school did it recently, a few years back. And so getting to work with her as my director in One Light, the first time I got to do this like really super cool iconic show that everybody loves. And then also getting to work on the other side of the table with her and create with her. I now teach theater to students as well, and went on to do that for my career and decided to make that a thing. And so getting to be next to her, seeing her work, while remembering the things that she had said to all of us while we were doing the same show, was such an interesting experience and a cool moment. The other show that I loved doing and remember the most from my time with her was Thoroughly Modern Millie, that we did our senior year. I graduated in 2010, by the way. I loved that show so much and knew nothing about it before we did it. I was like, what is this show? What are we doing? I don't know, it's from the 20s, okay, whatever. But we did it. It was a really awesome show. And then I got to actually do that show again right here in this theater, and got to play Millie opposite of her playing Muzzy. And the times that we, our blocking was to sit next to each other and just talk lovingly to each other, which came very naturally, as you can imagine. But the things and conversations that we got to have just during rehearsals, waiting for something, or during tech, waiting for something to happen, and just kind of the one-off conversations, and that scene in general right before the end of the show. I knew that I was very lucky to get to act opposite of my high school theater director, and I was kind of starstruck by it, but trying to also act cool. And I was like, this is fine. This is so much fun, right, Kelly? This is fun. Can I call you Kelly now? Okay. It was a great moment, and I found a photo from that recently and went digging through everything, and even watched the DVD recording that we have of it now. And I just feel even more thankful to have been able to work with her in all of those different ways and see the different sides of how hard she worked to make sure that we felt safe and had fun and did a good job and went on to do whatever it was that we wanted to do with our lives. And she just supported us like family, or like our friend. Like Bruce said, it was a fine line, but she did hold that line so well. And the last time that I got to visit with her was I started a competition team with the students that I teach, and we travel around and do different contests and things. And I was like, I need someone that's not me to sit here and judge these kids, because I already know them, and so I'm biased because I like them all. And so I called her and I was like, can you come and judge these students and help me pick who's gonna be in this? And to watch her giving notes to students that I still am actively working with was just such a cool moment for me. And then remembering back to when I first started, and my first audition with her was for Seussical, and she was so nice in my audition, and I was just like, we have to keep creating things like this. And I so valued all of those different moments with her. So.
I'm sorry. I was gonna go, but I just didn't think it was appropriate, so I'm not going to. I'll just say bird girl. But those that know, know. Jesus. Oh my God.
Hi, y'all. My name's Ryan. I'm an 05 graduate of Deer Park. I didn't know that this memorial service was this kind of thing, or else I would be prepared for it. Chris, I am sure that you're not surprised at all that I am not prepared. Not even a little bit. When I got Chris's message about Kelly's passing, I was devastated. And it's taken me a long time to process it. I've been sitting here still processing it, I think. There are so many things that we've all talked about. There's so many things that I could sit here and talk about and would be better prepared to talk about had I thought about this. Like, oh, of course we're gonna talk, why wouldn't we? So I joined, I was a sophomore when Kelly joined Deer Park. And I had an outstanding freshman year, and I thought I was the end-all be-all of Deer Park Theater. And in fact, of theater, period. I thought I was, I did not lack for self-confidence. I love you, Scott. And I did not realize, however, that there were people that maybe were better suited to things than I were, and maybe had more talent than I did, or were better prepared than I was. And so that was a rude awakening for me. And it was something that I think Kelly tried really hard to teach me, kind of my entire career with her, was the fact that modesty is a trait to be developed, one that I still lack a little bit. And she tried, because I think the thing that's amazing to me about Kelly and about Chris is that they knew us better than our parents did. I definitely know that's true in my case. Because we spent so much time with them, we built those relationships with them. They cared about us. And they wanted what was amazing for us and what was best for us, and they knew a lot better for what was best for us than probably we did ourselves. And I know that because the last time that I set foot on stage for Kelly was to tell her I was quitting the one-act play my senior year. Because, I was too busy. I was working a full-time job as a cashier at Walgreens, and so I didn't have time. But in reality, I wasn't happy with the part that I had gotten. Justin Golden, whoever cursed his name, he got the part that I thought I deserved. And I took that as a personal affront, and so I made up this BS reason to quit the show. And what was interesting for me is that I got to come back as a baby teacher and teach for 2 years at Deer Park. And so I got to see Kelly and Chris as colleagues. And I had conversations with both of them about this. And it helped me understand a lot better that, sure, this wasn't the lead like I thought I deserved, but it was the part that I was meant to play. And I think that is the most amazing thing about Kelly, is that she knew the part that all of us were meant to play a lot better than we did ourselves. I did 2 years at Deer Park, is how I'm going to describe that. And then for the past 11 years, I've been working at Clear Lake High School as a speech and debate coach. And so I get every single day, I get to work with my students, I get to learn about my students, I get to love on my students. I get to do all of the things that Kelly did for us. And I know that the only reason that I'm even slightly good at my job, I'm okay at it. But I know that the only reason I'm even capable of doing my job is because of the skills that we learned under Kelly and under Chris. And I will be forever grateful for everything that they taught us. I did not go to Kelly's retirement party because, again, I had one more lesson that I think she needed to teach me. I did not want to come back to the city of Deer Park. I don't like it here. And so I chose to use that as an excuse not to come back to her retirement. And ever since she passed away, I realized how big of a mistake that was. And so come to find out, she still is teaching me some humility. She's still teaching me that I need to get over myself a little bit, and I need to deal with that. So Kelly was an amazing woman. We're all blessed. We're all better because we knew her. Thank you.
So I came because I wanted to hear everyone else give memories of Kelly, because I don't know if it was a lot of bad experimental choices I made in college, maybe in high school too, sorry, but I have been struggling to remember specific moments. I'm like, how is that possible? It's 4 years. 4 years, and I spent almost every day with this woman for 4 years. Some of you might know this. I lived with Kelly. was not happy living at home. I graduated high school and I moved in with Kelly in her little duplex. And you know what I remember? I remember Pumpkin.
Yes.
I know I sat with Kelly and watched old movies, and I know that we chatted, and I know we talked about her books, but what stands out to me is giant orange pumpkin, the cat, hissing at me at the end of the hallway so that I can't get to my room. That's what I remember. And a cute little kitten named Trixie, right? So, you know, I remember things surrounding her, but I was really racking my brain for specific incidents, specific moments, and I was really, really looking forward to hearing everybody else give moments in hopes that I would hear something. I would say, I remember that now. But you know, Kelsey is absolutely right. It is a patchwork of memories, for one thing. But I think it's also more the feeling that you have thinking of her. Because I can't remember anything she said to me specifically or any particular acting notes, but like, you know, warmth. Right? You guys remember warmth, you know? Raise your hand if you're a theater teacher now. I need to know, because apparently quite a few of you are theater teachers now. You know, because she motivated people. And I was really feeling pretty mad at myself for not being able to remember specific moments. But then I remembered Chris and Kelly always used to get onto me because I walked and stood everywhere like this. Like this. I would have a giant backpack and a metal lunchbox with keys on it, so you could always hear me, and it would be like, clank, 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 clank. And Chris and Kelly would tell me, stand up straight. You're gonna hurt your back. It can't be good for you. We can't see your face. Pick up your head, pull your shoulders back, pull your hair out of your eyes, and let us see you. And it took me 26 years, but I did it, Chris. I stand up now. I don't walk hunched. Like, I don't care about myself, or I don't want people to see me, or I don't want to see other people. Sometimes I don't want to see other people, but I suck it up, and I stand up straight, and I look straight ahead, and not at the ground, and I don't bend my whole body over, because yeah, I'm getting old and it kind of hurts. But, because, you know, I spent 3 years ignoring people that loved me, because high school kids don't listen. And I'm glad that by 26, I got it through my thick skull that you were right. I deserve to stand up straight. You know, we all deserve to stand up straight. Because Kelly said, fix your posture. Because Kelly told me to fix my posture, and it took a while, but I'm really glad I listened to both of you guys. Thank you.
Hi guys. So my mom's probably thinking, Kylie, why are you going up here? Well, so I'm actually currently a senior at Deer Park High School, and I am in the theater company. And unfortunately, Miss Lawrence retired right before my freshman year, so I did not get the opportunity of being her student. However, both of my parents were students of hers. And I grew up hearing all of these stories, all of these life lessons that she taught my parents. And I remember I was at a dance recital at Deer Park, and my mom was like, we were in the theater room, my mom was like, look, there's a baby picture of you. And I was like, why? Well, I'm currently under the direction of Mr. Wasson, who worked with Ms. Lawrence before she retired, and Mr. Unrow, who also worked with her for a while. We have a metal cart that had all of these scripts on it in our theater room. every single one of those has Lawrence on the top in black Sharpie. And then we carry traditions that she started that I didn't even know still today. Every year we have a class project where we do Too Much Life Makes Things Go Blind. Every year we still do that. We do the paper plate awards, still. And my favorites that I know that my peers who are going off to be theater teachers are gonna take to wherever they go, and that is Magic Circle. We still do it before every single show. It's probably one of my favorites. The seniors lead, and other costume follow. And I think we should all do it. I think it'd be really cool. So, is everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone, say it with me. Or actually, no, I want to lead it, and y'all can repeat after me. Seniors lead. There's magic in the theater.
There's magic in the theater.
The theater is magic.
The theater is magic.
And blessed are those.
And blessed are those
who get to share the magic with others.
who get to share the magic with others.
Wow. That was pretty cool. So it's nice to see that y'all are all going through, like, y'all are remembering all those memories, but it's also really cool to see that, I mean, she left Deer Park 4 years ago. It's really nice to see that she has made her mark and it is still there, and we're taking that all over the world. So, thank you.
My name is Brianna. I graduated in 2013, and Kelly Lawrence was the first person who taught me that I could believe in myself, and that's something that I'm hearing from a lot of people today. Kelly Lawrence was a theater teacher, and she taught more than just theater. She taught public speaking, she taught film, and she taught self-confidence. She taught self-love, and she taught a future. And that's something that's really weird to me, to be in the future that she was trying to teach me about, and her not be here. It's really amazing all the lives that she has touched that I'm sitting here seeing. People who walked the same halls as I did, that she did. People who have learned under her tutelage and who have gone on to make the world a better, more important place because of her. I have two memories of Kelly Lawrence that stand out to me today. And one of them is a common one from what I hear from everybody. When I was first joining in her class my sophomore year, I had let orchestra go, realizing it wasn't for me, and I had tried theater, because what else was I going to do? I couldn't sing, I didn't want to be in band, that's too much spit. So I joined theater instead, and we had done some projects, we had had some basic stuff introducing us to the concept of being on the stage. It was definitely introduction to me. Some of the kids had been in there since freshman year and had a background that I didn't have. Some of the kids had been acting since 5 years old. And she treated us all the same. She believed in us all the same. And she was talking to the class, and she was just giving an example of something, and she said, when Brianna has to give her Oscar speech, and sure, it's probably a line she used a lot, but it hit me. It was a possibility. I don't think I'm ever gonna give an Oscar speech, but she believed that I could before anybody else did. And the other memory that I have of Kelly Lawrence was when we were in Footloose, which was my first year of joining theater. Everybody was lined up in the hallways, and the people of the hallways of Deer Park High School outside of the theater, because we were all practicing something dance related, I'm sure. And she was mad. She was sick of being there. She was sick of all of us, and she was taking it out on us in a way that was very natural, now as an adult looking back, but at the time felt a little bit personal. But it wasn't. She just believed the best from us, and she wanted the best from us, even when we weren't giving our best, farting around, twiddling our thumbs, talking about who's kissing who.
But Kelly Lawrence wanted us to give our best every single day, and she believed that when we did, we would see something for it. And that's something that I learned from her before anyone else. And that's another pattern that I'm seeing. Kelly Lawrence was a parent, not just a teacher. She didn't have any kids, but she was our mother. And I'm gonna miss her. Thank you.
I am Larry. I thought I knew Kelly. I did know her. I will tell you that her biggest inspiration is this moment for me. I was a teacher with her and had the privilege of working with her, getting to know her. But sitting here and listening to the wonderful stories and moments for a man who has lived many decades experiencing one of the most inspiring moments in my life. That's my memory of Kelly. And in so many ways, she is the epitome of love. And I see it in the room. And I'm so grateful to share this, to have been able to share this with you. God bless you. Thank you so much for the stories and the wonderful, wonderful moments that you had with her. It means a lot to me and to all of us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chad Fontenot. I graduated in the class of 2014, and I'll try to keep this brief because I have so many stories, as I'm sure we all do, and I would just be remiss not to mention that I was an actor before Kelly and coming to Chris as well. And I'm sure I would have been an actor after, but I became a better actor. But more importantly, I became a human. I remember distinctly, there was something that wasn't working out in one night play with my emotion during Rhymers of Eldritch. And we had an anger workshop. And I remember we all took like a rag and threw it in the center. And it didn't take until the passing that I realized that she gave me a place to come into fullness, to come into authenticity, to say that, hey, these are emotions, that's okay. It is okay to feel these things, these are human things. And I'm just, the heartbreak is great, but the gratitude is so much more. Thank you.
My name is Erin, my class of 06. And I didn't know I could be here today, so I am, like NASA, completely unprepared. So I'm just gonna say a couple things. Basically, I'm rounding up everything that you all have said. Kelly was a second mother to me. She changed my life, and she made me who I am. And I could tell you all the stories about how Jessie Golden, Ryan Baker, and I made her blush on every basis. Because we tried to just get a little bit further to see what we can get away with. Also, everyone, I can't forget my lines because I didn't write anything down.
That's good.
But hearing all these stories, it just confirmed what I already knew. She changed all of our lives. She made us better people. And she made us great teachers. And I will forever miss her.
So I have to tell you one story. Where something came from. A few of y'all have mentioned about getting your fishies together. That's the polite way of putting it. That's how our dad said it in public. It was the S word when it wasn't public. But that's where that came from. That was from a highly disciplined guy. Which y'all saw in Kelly quite often. I also heard things that I knew were her. I gotta take a deep breath. But anyway, the family thanks you for the stories. I know my daughters were quite grateful to hear them, so am I, Kim and myself. I will end with my wife has prepared a sort of a toast. There's some sangria out there in the hallway. Oh, by the way, there's food out there. Y'all need to eat it. I don't need to take it home. So again, the family wants to thank y'all for coming today. I think everybody was very grateful to hear the stories and the memories. I know I am, I know Kim is, I know my nieces are. I'm sorry, my daughters are her nieces. Get my frame of reference. Chris, you sure you don't want to say anything, man? Okay? You told me you wouldn't. You're a crier. I know you don't want to get up here. It's hard
They
not
know
to.
I'm a crier, but I am.
You told me you were. Anyway, Lisa.
I don't know, I was gonna raise a glass of sangria. Okay, somebody still have some sangria. But if you don't, this is my toast. This is my toast together. We gathered here today not to mourn the loss of our beloved Kelly, but to celebrate the incredible life she lived. Kelly was not just a sister-in-law to me, she was a source of inspiration and joy for everyone who had the privilege of knowing her. Kelly was a woman of many passions, and she pursued each of them with unwavering enthusiasm. She had a deep love for theater, music, cooking, and teaching, and her dedication to these pursuits was nothing short of remarkable. Her radiant spirit was infectious, and she shared her passions for life with all of us. As a theater director and teacher in the heart of Texas, Kelly left an indelible mark on the lives of hundreds of students. She was more than an educator. She was a mentor, a confidant, and a guiding light for young talents who were fortunate enough to walk the boards under her direction. Through her guidance, Kelly helped shape not only their performances, but also their characters. She instilled in them the values of teamwork, dedication, and self-expression, values that would serve them well, not just on stage, but in life. Kelly's love for the arts was contagious. Her eyes would light up when she spoke about the magic of the theater, the power of a well-executed song, or the joy of crafting a delicious meal. She had a knack for making even the most mundane moments feel extraordinary, whether it was through a heartwarming performance, a melodious tune, a culinary masterpiece, or a simple, heartfelt conversation. In her 57 years, Kelly taught us the invaluable lessons of living life to the fullest. She showed us that passion knows no bounds and that every day is an opportunity to create something beautiful, to touch the lives of others, and to be a force for good. Her legacy will continue to shine brightly through the lives of the students she inspired, the melodies she shared, the dishes she cooked, and the love she gave to her family and friends. So, we raise glasses in her honor today. Let us not dwell on the sadness of her sudden departure, but instead let us celebrate the extraordinary life of Kelly. May her love for the arts, her zest for life, her enduring spirit continue to inspire us all. To Kelly, a remarkable sister-in-law, teacher, and friend, may you forever shine on in our hearts and in the world of theater and beyond. To Kelly.